What's up, metalheads? Welcome back to another episode of Metal Madness Reviews, and today we are looking at the 10th full-length studio album by Five Finger Death Punch, entitled Legacy. Regard my discontent, my death. Alright, but before we get into the main interview, I want to talk about the very obvious AI-generated elephant in the room. It is no secret now that Death Punch has been dabbling with generative AI in the last few years. Everything from lyric videos to promotional and announcement material to album artwork and even to some extent merchandise. And more or less, the band's whole attitude towards AI usage, especially when they've been called out, which thankfully has been done. For a while there, I thought it wouldn't have happened, but more or less, this band has done one of four things. One, they either ignore it. Two, they pretty much try to pass it off as a joke. Oh, ha ha ha! This is not. Don't take it so serious. Three, they double down on it. And then four, in the extreme case, like it happened to me, you get blocked from socials, which I find hilarious considering this band has such, apparently thick skin that they would block me over some anti-generative AI comments. But needless to say, the band has been using it here in the last few years. And like I said, they were being called out on it. And just the whole thing has just led to the band trying to immediately do damage control, replacing most of the stuff with like real pictures of like the band performing. And there was one point where somebody commented, I think it was on Zoltan Bathory's Instagram post, that it's like, if you can't do this, why rely on a machine? Why can't you just outsource the artwork or something? And this is not an exact quote, this is just me paraphrasing. So Zoltan basically went, I don't have time to do artwork right now, with me being so busy, so thank God for ChatGPT. And I don't want to outsource it because basically I've been the band's graphic designer for a little over 20 years at this point. Which begs the question, why not just outsource it if you don't have time? Like, if it's that big a deal, just outsource it. But God forbid, a millionaire artist pay out just a couple $100 to some guy that I know would probably who would love to, do something for the band and actually deliver something that's better, in my opinion, than what, a machine could create. But no, apparently artist helping artists is just no involved now. So, yeah. Now, whether or not this has leaked over into the band's actual creative process of like using generative AI for like the music and instrumentation and all that, that's unknown to me. I do not know, although listening to this album, I would not be surprised if that was the case. So without further ado, let's actually get into the review and see if it is. Now, to start off this review, I want to talk about the instrumentals first. How are they? Well, to simply put it,
I mean, it's alright, like, overrated as fuck, in my opinion. I mean,
Zoltan Bathory stated that it was going to be a heavier album, that they were going to reach back towards the first three albums, which, if I'm honest, I still love. So that ought to be good news, right? Well, more or less, yes and no. The band certainly does deliver a heavier sound on this album. There's still some solid guitar work by Andy and Zoltan. And Chris, though, I cannot hear at all. I kind of I was maybe kind of hoping for something like from like Way of the Fist, where you could actually hear the bass or bass in some areas, but I didn't get that. The drums didn't sound fake, like kind of like they did in the last album and a couple songs, but there was one point where the songs or where the drum was just kind of, it was um the instrumentals are fine. Bottom line, they're fine. About halfway through the album, the songs shift from like a chugga chugga to more of a riff centered album, which is great, honestly. But the problem is that it doesn't really build upon anything, nor does it, like expand like past what it just delivers. What you hear is what you get, basically. So if you were expecting more riffs and stuff like that, like recognizable riffs, then you're going to be disappointed. But I mean, if you just love like chugga 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 chugga, then you're going to get plenty of that. And so, that side of the fan base will be happy. All right, next I want to talk about production. For the first time since this band emerged onto the scene in 2007, this album was not produced by long runner Kevin Churko. However you say his last name. This time it was done by Drew Folk, I think is how you say his name, who is often cited as working with Ice Nine Kills, Motionless in White, Knocked Loose, among some other artists. He does a fine enough job as well. I can say that this is probably the first Five Finger Death Punch album in a long while that doesn't sound so compressed that it sounds like plastic. I think everything flows nice. Guitars and vocals are not fighting each other. He does a fine enough job. I think what the problem might be is that this is also the first Five Finger Death Punch album to be like this big bombastic cinematic thing, and which I guess that's what, if you ask Death Punch what heavy is, I guess that's what they mean. So there's like a lot of choral, like chorus type ambience and stuff like that, I think. I don't know. To be truthful, I listened to this album like twice, and I really don't want to go back to it. And I will state the reason why in just a little bit. But yeah, production's fine. I think Drew does a fine enough job. But yeah, like it's big, it's bombastic, it's loud at sometimes, but it's not overbearing, I guess, like Kevin's work was. There was something I was gonna say, but I just lost it. The thing it came back, thank God. But there's some very like obvious like editing and overlayering that Drew did to kind of help compensate for the fact that Ivan, despite what some Five Finger Death Punch fans want to believe, Ivan just does not have the voice or the capability to hit those harsher notes. So if you listen like really carefully, it's not very obvious. It's subtle, but there's some editing, there's some like reverb delay and auto tune. Now it's not egregious as say like T-Pain or maybe the latest Avenged Sevenfold EP, but it's there. It's subtle and it's there. You just gotta listen closely for it. But yeah, I mean, other than that, production it's fine. It's better than what we've gotten in the past. And now for the reason why I don't feel like this album is really worth coming back to. What brings it all down for me is the lyrics. This is where the album falls short for me, is the lyrical department. Now, even when I was a fan of Death Punch about 5-7 years ago, I'm gonna put it that way, even I knew that Death Punch, at the best of times, Ivan Moody specifically, was not the best lyricist. I mean, come on, this is the same guy that basically stated the same thing twice in one song. Brother, please forgive me for not being by you or being by your side. That's the same thing. But the lyrics in this album have reached back to And Justice for None territory of corny and stupid, to be honest. In fact, these next 3 clips that I'm about to show you pretty much sum up what the lyrics are like on this album.
I can tell by what you're saying, but...
Yeah, you think you've seen crazy? Well, you haven't seen crazy, Jay. I'm the king of all crazy. The king to end all crazy. No one can beat me. I am the crazy Jay.
God is all powerful. He cannot be all good. And if he is all good, then he cannot be all powerful.
My heart. I loved her. Wow.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, these lyrics are very lackluster. But Ivan is sure proud of them. Like I said, I mean, it's just the same old stuff over and over again. And when he really has nothing else to say, he'll just repeat the lyric. Repeat the lyric. And honestly, that doesn't make for good lyricism, in my opinion. I am not a lyricist, but honestly, just hearing like what he has written in the past and just like his degree of lyricism now, it kind of makes me wish we would go back to like songs like I Apologize or just even Ashes, I guess. But this like, you're crazy and I'm not, like you'll never be me, go screw, or whatever. I don't know. It's not very good. So, yeah. I want to talk about sound structure next. So, like kind of like what I mentioned with the instrumental part, what you hear is what you get. It's kind of what you get here with the song structure as well. There is nothing that is improved upon, nothing that they try to do. I'm not saying that Death Punch should do a like slamming brutal death metal song, because well, one, frankly, I don't think they have it in them. 2, they are afraid of alienating their fan base to the point where they don't care. They will play it so safe, and they will just wipe their hands and move on. And frankly, I think I would like to see them try something a little bit different. Go back to F8, and you'll see that their song structure was a little more unconventional, unorthodox. It wasn't just verse, chorus, guitar solo, chorus, end. They actually tried something new. And in my opinion, it worked. That's why F8 is one of my guilty pleasures. But no, we go back to simplistic song structure, and by the time you've heard the end of the first chorus, you've heard the rest of the song. I mean, there's nothing else to it. There's no interesting breakdowns. There's no... Andy James's guitar playing is great and all, but they seriously hold him back. They restrict his ability to play, and it's like, just let him shred. This is the problem I had in the last album, was that they didn't let him have really any time to shine. It was like, well, here's a 10 to 15 second spot. go nuts. And I wish we could have had more of like what makes Andy James great. But yeah, it's pretty much just the same stuff every song. There's a couple of times where they try to do something a little different, but I think it falls flat on their face. Dia Presso Liber, whatever. It's one of those that tries something different, but it just, I think it probably would have worked differently in a different area, or maybe in a different song. It's the oh, whoa, whoa part, or whatever. I think that would have worked maybe better in the beginning. That's just me, though. So yeah, song structure wise, this is pretty cut and dry. So to close everything off, this album ends in a very particular way. And for those of you who are not going to listen to the album, let's play a little game right quick, okay? So the last song is called Scapegoat. Now, how do you think the song is going to end?
Is it A, an awesome guitar solo that fades out? B, a juicy breakdown? Or C, Ivan saying, fuck you? Got your answer? Let's see what it is and if you're correct.
Fuck you.
Thanks for nothing, asshole. So with that all being said, I have one final message that I want to give to the Death Punch fans who think that it is their sole mission in life to jump to this band's defense every time something negatively is said about this band. First of all, I understand that the band is going to be successful. The albums that they put out are going to be successful. They are one of the biggest rock bands, if not the biggest rock band right now, next to like, say, Metallica or AC/DC. I get that. Their success is earned. They have made it, and that's fine. But just because a band has excellent streaming numbers or album sales, ticket sales, does not necessarily mean that they are good. If you like Five Finger Death Punch in this current state that they are in right now, good for you. I'm happy for you. If it's your cup of tea, great. Drink it all up until you're sick in your stomach. It's not going to be for everybody. But you don't have to jump to their defense every time something is said negatively about them. It's not that serious. Treat what I'm saying like dog shit. If you can see it and it's in your way, step around it. You don't have to walk in it. I promise. You can step over it, you can step around it. Just move on. You know how you like to tell us, if we don't like it, then don't listen to it. If you don't like what we hear, just shrug it off and then move on. Okay? It's not that hard. You don't have to jump to the defense. Their success is not determined by what critics like me, Metal Meltdown, Metal Trenches, Thralls of Metal, rocked. It's not determined by that. It's going to be okay. If we say that this album is a 3 out of 10, 2 out of 10, whatever, then it's not going to harm the band in any form or fashion. I promise. It's going to be okay. So, in regards to everything that I just discussed, I was maybe thinking about putting this album on between a 4 out of 10 and a 5 out of 10, because this is slightly better than Afterlife was. It is heavier, and there's some good ideas sprinkled throughout. But everything else drags it down. Lyrics, attitude, towards like AI, and even AI usage, which if any artist uses that, you are lazy. Lazy, okay? It's going to immediately drag you down for me. So I've been struggling with this all day at my day job. I think that this album can sit comfortably at a 3 out of 10. And that's, I believe, a poor rating. I wish, frankly, that this album could have gone a little bit different. I wish that it was not so simplistic to the point where it was considered safe. This is heavier, yes, but not so much heavy as it is maybe like Way of the Fist, like they were talking about. This is more like Got Your Six and Wrong Side of Heaven heavy. Other than that, the songs are safe, the lyrics are abysmal, the AI generated stuff, just no. So yes, this album, while sonically heavier than the previous one, everything else that I've mentioned is going to drag it down, making this a 3 out of 10. So that's all I've got. Yeah. Guys, if you've made it this far into the video, I just want to say thank you so much for watching. Please like and subscribe, as this helps me and the channel. And it gets, pushes my videos out there so that way you can see more of this content. And as always, leave a comment down below on what you think. Do you think I'm wrong? Do you think I'm stupid for thinking the way I do? Do you think the album is just a complete masterpiece? Or do you agree with me? Do you think that this should have been left up on the shelf? Do you think the band should be done after this? Which they are not. They are not going to be. Zoltan Bathory pretty much said that they're not going into retirement anytime soon. So, to quote Deadpool, till you're 90. But until then, let me know what you guys think, and I think I'm going to leave it there. So, keep rocking out, and until then, I will see you guys in the next video. Take care of each other, and yeah, don't die in this heat. Drink plenty of water. Okay, I'm gonna go now.